Buongiorno ragazzi, today we are back with another video of the next round of F1 Esports 2023-2024 Championship. This is round 10, if I believe. Yeah, there's 3 rounds left, so this is round 10. And this is Las Vegas, a track that we've never had in the calendar before. So this is a first for F1 Esports and a first for us racing each other on this. So it's going to be very interesting. As we know, this track is extremely difficult to nail a lap on. Yeah, we're gonna jump in straight into Q1. We felt as a team as this was probably our strongest track by quite a margin on the whole calendar. I think there was, from what we knew at least, there was no team that was even close to us matching our pace. So confidence was at an all-time high. We come back from a kind of a rough day from the day before with Brazil, with scoring 0 points with both cars. So we really need to step up our game, especially because we're now 4th in the Constructor Championship at this point, and there's not many races left. You know, there's only 3 races to go, and we want to win that Constructor Championship. And this is our best shot in Vegas, to be honest, to get the best result as a team. And we knew this coming into it and during the whole season, but also, as if you guys seen or watched any league racing throughout the year in PSGL, WR and whatnot, Vegas was always probably the most chaotic race of the season because of this straight. This is the reason why, this long straight. And so although we were the fastest and expected good results, you still don't know what can happen in a track like this. As we saw there last sector, we were on a decent lap, but the last corner was very slow and too safe. I lost, like, if I remember correctly, almost 2/10, so even more, I think. So yeah, not the best last corner, which meant that we had to go again in Q1. So not the greatest start. I think Barry had a good enough lap to stay into the pits, so he didn't have to go out again and use another set of tires. But as you can see here, we gained so much time, and it was still very cautious. So it just shows how much time there is in a lap like Vegas. It's just anywhere, to be honest. As we finish Q1 with a 0.60, which puts us P1 in front of Thomas. So good start from us. Barry in P9. Not quite sure who was out in Q1 in this race. I didn't quite scroll down, so apologies. But as we move on to Q2 now, what's on my mind here? I really want to get a really good lap, because having 2 fresh set of tires on this track means huge. So I really wanted to nail my Q2 first run and have a really fast banker, so that hopefully I could stay in the pits and save my set of tires for Q3. So we're gonna go on board with this lap now, as we miss a little bit the apex there on the inside. Usually you do want to touch the inside curve because it just gives you like very good rotation. But anyway, end of sector 1 here, we managed it relatively good. And for you guys that probably don't know, we had extremely, like, stupidly low wings in around this track, even in qualifying. And our first sectors were the slowest. We were the slowest in sector 1 by quite a margin, I think, as well. And that was very good. That left hand there. I think this sector 2 was absolutely crazy, if I remember correctly, faster than any Q3 sector 2 I did as well. So this is what carried my lap. But back to what I was saying. We have extremely low wings, so our sector 1s and middle sector splits are not the best, but thanks to the last sector and the straight line speed that we have, we gained so much time on the rest of the field, and I think we just had like more a 10th or 10th and a half in our pockets just with that. So I think we really nailed the setup for this round, as we do a 0.31 banker, which is really good. As you can see, I didn't have to go out again. Only Thomas barely beats us at the end, but look at the gap. Jarno's P3 with a 10th gap. So yeah, we're in a good position, as Barry also got P5 there in Q2. So we're both into Q3. That's first aim of the day reached. First objective of the day reached. So I'm not going to show you the first banker of Q3 because it was not very good. I still think it was like a 0.2, so it will put us at the top of the sheets at the moment. But I do believe that it was P2, so Thomas beat our banker. But here is my last run in Q3. I stay in 4th gear for turn 1, touch the inside curb for a little bit more rotation, and you need to stay so tight on the left because you need to prepare this right-hand, double right-hander kind of, and I do short shift to 6th, which is a bit odd for some drivers. I've seen most of them stay in 5th, but I like to short shift to 6th. Just before the 100-meter board, down to 3rd, clip the inside curb a little bit, which we still miss a tiny bit, and as you can see, we lose time on our banker. Brake right after the little patch on the floor. You don't want to, you can cut the inside there, but I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it's too risky to get an invalidation, and you just don't gain that much time. So yeah, we're currently just about 60, almost 70 up, and Sector 1 is at 2.4. For our standards, that is very slow. We are 1.5 tenths off Thomas in Sector 1 right now, so not very good Sector 1. And again, we nailed the middle sector, just like in Q2. I think this middle sector was crazy. I think it was like a low 0.4, which, yeah, very, very fast. We are 130 up on a 2.7, 140, sorry, as the delta goes up. So it's all about this last corner, and we need to brake as late as possible without touching the inside curb, which we just about miss, which is perfect. And we get a good exit as well, and we are 160, almost 170 up, which means this is a very low 1, and in our predictions, this should be pole 109. It is provisional pole position, unless everyone beats us. Yeah, no one beats us, so look at that. P1 and P3 for myself and Barry, perfect qualifying for us. Jarno P5, Freddy P6, perfect for the Constructor Championship, and Josh P10. So yeah, it's perfect position for us. And apparently I'm driving this race under the Danish flag. So if you want to see this qualifying results, the grid for today, make sure to pause the video, and there it is. There's the grid for today's race. Look at that in the race director, the top 9 on the soft tires. Yeah, the softs are really good, or the soft medium, shall I say, strategy is very dominant in this track for some reason. So of course, myself and Barry starting in the top 3, we are not going to risk anything with the strategy, and we're going to both start on the softs and just hope to have a clean, incident-free start / race at the front, managing our gaps to each other, and that's what we're going to try and do. And again, as you guys will see in this race, our wings are extremely low on the race, and no one, or like, people just couldn't really match us on the straights, and somehow on the setup we managed to have a very good balance in the corners as well, and we didn't really have that struggle with the tires after the drop-off. So once again, both setups for qualifying the race nailed for this round, and as you can see, no incidents as far as I can see on the first lap, especially in the first sector, which was weird to see, as we expected the unexpected in this race. There was a lot of hype around this track, just due to the fact of how it's built and what racing it always gave for the last few months in league racing. So even the commentators were hyping this race a lot, and for a good reason, to be honest. Obviously, all the viewers want to see battling, and this is the best track to see that. But so far, unexpectedly to us at least, there was no chaos in the front, in the midfield, or in the back. Very rare sight to have seen no incidents in lap 1 of Vegas. But I guess since everyone did expect chaos in Vegas, I think everyone also drove more cautious and took more care and didn't risk as much, especially with the walls being so close. So yeah, maybe that's why there was not much chaos. As now we skip to lap 3, where the DRS gets activated, and it's just the freest pass here. Like, even if I used the whole straight, my ERS, Thomas would still get past me without a problem. So it's gonna be a lap after lap swapping of positions, which not too exciting, to be honest, at the front. I'm not quite sure what was going on in the mid-pack. I heard there was quite a bit of fighting after the pit stop, mostly because I know that as we saw, the top 9 are all on softs, so it's a very evenly split grid. Like, the first half of the train is on one strat, the second half of the train is on the alternate strat, which also that meant less chaos and less fighting. Because if if you're starting P3 or P4 on the hards, of course you're going to be in the middle of a bunch of chaos in the first few laps. But anyway, still swapping with Thomas, and here our strategy, I can explain you guys now, is very simple. I have to undercut everyone. I need to be the only one pitting before everyone, so that, because then if everyone responds to me, Barry has to be part of that group, or one of us. So since I'm also trying to help Barry in the driver championship, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna let both Thomas and Barry pass now, so that I am P3, and this means that for lap 8, the next lap, Barry will be P1 because he will overtake Thomas, or I don't know why he actually goes for it now. I guess it doesn't really matter actually, but anyway. So now that I'm P3, I'm now gonna lift off a bit and create a bit of a gap to Barry and Thomas, so that when I undercut, these two have a bigger gap, and which means I can't undercut them as much, so that Barry, when he comes out of the pits, he will be right with me, and that would be crucial for us to work together to help each other out. So you will see now, I'm just lifting, going a little bit slower on the corners, and the gap to the two in front will increase quite substantially, as Jarno, I think, kind of knows that and can see that it's about to happen, and I think he will start pushing Ulas a bit and putting some pressure. And I know Jarno was the only one to run lower wings than us in the race, but I think he went too low, because he went like ridiculously low, almost like almost on zero. So I think he struggled a lot on the tires, especially now during the later stages of the stint. I think he just couldn't really match our traction and Ulas's as well. So as you can see, the gap to Thomas and Barry is now 8/10, and the gap is big, which is perfect of what I needed, but I need to make sure that Jarno here does not pass. And actually what I meant earlier is that Barry will be P2 in lap 8 now, which means for next lap, lap 9, he will use the DRS to overtake Thomas and pass him and gain time on his in lap. So it was perfectly calculated, as Jarno and Ulas go a little bit side by side, but nothing to worry about. It was just perfectly managed and calculated, this race. I just couldn't be happier with how we played it here. I mean, it was the perfectest first stint. There's nothing else we could have done differently or improved. As now we're gonna pit, and Ulas and I think someone else follows us in. I think it's Lucas, yeah. Lucas Blakely follows us in. And Freddy too as well. Because Freddy started a little bit behind. So I guess he's going for the undercut to try and get past all these people. But unluckily for him, I just didn't push in my in lap, where I left the space to the people ahead, to Thomas and Barry. And this outlap either, I'm not gonna push. I just want to keep the net P2. So if Ulas passes me, that's okay. I just don't want Lucas to pass me. So that's why I'm using a little bit of ERS here, to just make sure that I stay in front of Lucas and right behind Ulas, which Ulas is now the net race leader. So he's doing a very good job so far, Ulas. I know he's had a little bit of bad luck and struggled a bit during the championship, but this race he's doing very, very well. Props to him. And now we will see if our strategy worked exactly to how we expected it to work and planned it to work. And Barry is just coming out of the pits now. As you can see, look at the arrow on the left. We are side by side, and perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. We wanted him to come out on me, so we could help together, help each other defend from Lucas, and then attack Ulas later on. Because now he has a bit colder tires, so I need to be careful and he needs to be careful and not do any mistake in this first outlap. And now we skip on to lap 11, where our tires are all warmed up. Barry is net P3, net P3, I'm net P1, getting overtaken by Ulas, but that's exactly what I need. I need both Ulas and Barry to pass, which I do let him now. And hopefully we can keep Lucas right behind here. Yep, we do. We can't really go side by side in this corner. It's too tight and we just end up crashing. And I just need to defend now. I need to keep this P3 and manage the gap to the cars ahead. I just always need to leave Barry with like a 6, 7, 8 tenths gap, as Lucas now goes for the dive here. goes almost a bit too deep, but just about manages to stop the car. Side by side into this double right-hander, we both leave each other's space. And again, me and Lucas side by side, just like in Brazil. But as you can see here, our wings and Barry giving us the slipstream are just lower, and we're just faster on the straight, which really helps us out here. And once again, he backs out of that because obviously side by side in that corner, not the most ideal place to go side by side. But as you can see now, yeah, it's just a swapping game, and I'm managing the gaps of the cars behind. I'm letting Barry do his thing with Ulash, and I'm keeping the distance to keep Barry safe, basically. And it's only lap 14. I mean, there's still 11 and a bit laps to go. So it's a long race. It definitely felt very long. Probably like the longest race I've ever felt, to be honest. But now we skip on to lap 15, and I can see that Ulas is just struggling a bit with pace, and Thomas is pushing me. So here I decided, okay, we can all pass Ulash as long as Thomas passes as well. So thankfully Thomas passed. That meant that I can still get the P3 spot in the next lap and do the exact same thing, manage the gap to Barry, because that's all I needed to do. As here we got a little bit worried at first because of Jed. Jed is still out on hards and didn't pit yet, but thankfully he pitted right when we caught him, so he didn't cause any drama or stuff like that, as now we get the lead of the race. Purely for the fact that I wanted P3, so if I get the lead, Barry and Thomas now can both pass me at the same time, and just like that, we take P3. Exactly the position I want to be in for this race, because of course we want to get a 1-2, but it's just realistically it's just not really gonna happen unless something crazy happens. So I just want to help Barry as much as I can to get the win, and myself just defending from him and maybe getting a P3, P4 position. So that would be very good points for us, as Ulash and Jarno again going side by side, but I'm trying to help Ulash stay in front of Jarno, and I try to box him in, which I think worked perfectly. So once again, very good strategic move there to block Jarno's break, block Jarno's space so that he can't break late, and let Ulash keep the position. As we're now skipping to lap 24, and this is where all the positioning strategy happens. And Thomas does not want to pass, of course. He wants to be P2 for lap 25, for the last lap, but I'm pushing him to pass Barry, and I think we both end up passing Barry here, or going side by side, and I'm lifting because I don't want Thomas to be P2, or I don't want myself to be P1. So thankfully we managed to let Thomas go in P1, and me and Barry are in perfect position now, P2, P3, but Thomas is lifting here, he's lifting, I'm not even using ERS, he's lifting, and he does not want to lead. So me and Barry decide, okay, let's go side by side, create a wall and not let anyone pass. As long as we stay side by side, no one can pass us. And look at that, the tires are absolutely gone at this point. I mean, this is like 18 laps on the mediums, or 17, whatever it may be, and there's no grip anymore, especially on our very low wings, as Jarno's wings now pushing me on the straight. Tries to go maybe a little bit around the outside, but there's just no space in this corner. And okay, it's now Barry's time to shine. I'm just cruising, I'm just hoping to get a good result here. A podium would be lovely, but Barry's a little bit far, but I think he will just about get Thomas. And now the question is, will I get Thomas or not? So I know I'm a bit far for this straight, so I'm not gonna get him on this straight, and I stopped using my ERS. As you can see, I save the last 30% or so of my battery for maybe the last straight. Maybe there could be an opportunity, but at this point I didn't expect to pass Thomas, especially because now he also had the slipstream of Barry. But I start using, and I see Thomas has run out of ERS, and we just cruise past him. And this gave us the freest, or the easiest 1-2 ever, because I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was just hold my button, and my car was just going 30 kph faster on the straight. So yeah, oh my god, we were so happy after this result. It was a long time coming that we put both cars in a good position at the end of the race, and what a track to do it in. Jarno got P3 in the end as well. Thomas dropped to P4 and Freddy P6. Yeah, what a race this was. That was the most perfect managed race from myself and Barry. Genuinely, I don't know what else I would have done differently, to be honest. It was just perfect. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next race, which should be Qatar, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.